Is that a thriller move? Welcome to the show, everybody. Happy to be here live. Happy to have you watching live. I love live. Live is live. Which is why I'm rambling. That's what you can do on live, is that you can ramble and then people can't say shit about it because it's live. Like, how dare you talk like a normal person with normal cadence, making mistakes in your speech. How dare you, you stupid talking person, talking head, which, speaking of heads, there's that head. It's a weird head. Like, if we're gonna be honest here, weird head. I photoshopped this myself, and I'm gonna say the neck detail right here, not easy. This was difficult. A lot of shadows going on here. It was not easy at all, really, to Photoshop. I wanted to pick a picture of Jerry Jones because Jerry Jones is, well, he's Jerry Jones. And, you know, we're going to talk about what he says versus what he does, which doesn't match up. But I also want to talk about just, like, generally speaking, why you trust these people. Like, why do you think what they say matters? I've been on this kick for a long time, and today's show's going to be kind of weird. I'm just going to let you know that right off the bat. Today's show's going to be kind of weird. It's going to be all Cowboys specific. It's all going to be stuff that's specific to you guys as Cowboys fans. But I'm going to be honest, right? I don't know why. I've been in sports for a long time. I've been covering sports for like a decade, and here's the one thing that I think I've learned about sports fans and sports coverage and sports talk is that everybody thinks that what they want is access. That what they think they want is to know what's coming up next. But that's an insatiable desire. You want to know who the next player they're going to sign is. You want to know, you know, who this, that, or the other is going to be. You know, how is this going to work? How's that going to work? You want to know all these things. And you know, you want to know who the coach is. You want to know how the off-season workouts are going. Because that's, you know, you're a fan. You're a fanatic. You're fanatical about your team. But the problem with that is that that's a very easily manipulated thing. It's a really easily manipulated desire. Because once you get to that point, they know that they have to feed you. They know they have to give you information. They know they have to tell you what you want to hear. Because if they don't, you're going to get upset. And so Jerry Jones says all these things about wanting to go for it right now and wanting to be all in on winning a championship and all in on all these things. We're fully committed because he's gotten a lot of criticism throughout his time as the Cowboys head coach or as the owner. And a lot of the criticisms has been, well, he's just a jersey salesman. Well, he's just trying to make money off the team. All that kind of stuff. And I don't think that that's exclusively true, although I'll never fault somebody for wanting to make money. I want to make money. You want to make money. We all want to make money. But the idea that what he's telling you is the truth and insightful all the time, if you're expecting Jerry Jones' words to match his actions, I want to know why you're so naive. Because, you know, ostensibly, you're probably an adult watching this. You're probably at work right now or on your lunch break or what have you. And you love the Cowboys, right? You want to know about Robert Quinn. Newsflash, nothing's happened with Robert Quinn. You want to know whether or not George Iloka is going to be any good at safety. Newsflash, if you didn't know his name before now, chances are he probably won't be. He might be, but we have no freaking clue. Is DeMarcus Lawrence going to sign his franchise tag? Not looking good. All right, so like we can cover all of these points in like 5 minutes. I can do a 5-minute video and just say, look, what's the weather guy on Family Guy? They just like, and now to Carl with the weather. He's like, it's raining. And then it's like, back to you. And then it goes right back to Tom. Thanks, Carl. You know, that's how I feel like these updates can go. You don't need to obsess over it the way that you do, but you do because you have, like, it's just, you can't control that desire, that urge to obsess over your team. So, in order to fill that void, Jerry Jones will just tell you what you want to hear. And that's exactly what he's been doing. He's been doing it for 30 years. He's been telling you what you want to hear. And sometimes that matches up. Chris says the white version of the Thriller dance there, TJ. Yeah. TJ, spell this. Danny is saying I-C-U-P. That's great, Danny. That's great. You're my favorite. I love you, Danny. Carrie, what up, TJ? Shout out from Arkansas. Woo Pig Suey, as I give the hook'em horns. Yeah. I am so glad this basketball season's over with. I have no interest in baseball season until the World Series gets here. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with their World Series hopes. Danny says, are V-necks supposed to be coming back, TJ, or what? They are back, Danny. This is not a V-neck, though. This is just being weighed down by my microphone here. Daniel, canned get rid of Dak. Okay. Michael says, can you superimpose that head on your body and make the mouth move? I can't, but let's play with this. Let's see what we can do here. All right. Man, we're all in on the Super Bowl. We're all in on the Super Bowl. Come win. We're going to win. We're going to win a lot. We're going to win so much you're going to get tired of winning. I know we haven't been to a Super Bowl in 25 years, but I'll tell you what. I can feel it. I'm almost dead. I'm about to die, so we're going to have to win soon. If I'm about to die, we're going to have to win right now. Steven, get on it. I trust you, except I don't trust you at all. That's why I keep micromanaging every single move that you make on the team. And I'll also pay all those players, but don't pay any of them. Pay them what market value, but give me a great deal. I want a great deal on a player, but I also want that player. And if anything doesn't happen exactly the way I want it, it's going to be your fault, not mine, because I'm Jerry Jones. Now let's go get shit-faced. That's my, how was that? Was the comically large Jerry Jones head good for you guys? Did you guys enjoy that? You guys like this? All right. Okay, Chris says Taco Fail is better than Taco Charlton. Talking about Taco Fall? Taco Fall, the 7'7" UCF basketball player, Taco Fall. Yeah. Taco Fall should, if he ever does fall, he's gonna hit pretty hard. Joe seemed to enjoy that. Danny, V-neck, long tees are making a comeback. Marlon's laughing, love that. Michael saying love it. March Madness is lit. Daniel says, and get rid of Dak is what I was trying to say. Typo. Okay, so Michael, great job, dude. Thank you very much. I'm glad you guys enjoyed that. We'll have to do that we'll have to do that on the show. We'll have to superimpose Jerry Jones' head. I think I should just do the show this way. No other images are necessary for the rest of the offseason. The only images that are necessary are me and then, man, hey guys, what's going on in free agency? Have I signed anybody yet? I got some questions to answer. See, the eyebrow itch doesn't really work. That look on Jerry Jones' face. Do I need to make it smaller or bigger? Let's make it bigger. There we go. That's about right. How does this V-neck look on me? How does this V-neck cover up my turkey neck? Do you like it? I hear V-necks are back in. Let's all go to the V-neck store. You know who could use a V-neck? DeMarcus Lawrence. I hear he's not willing to sign his franchise tag, so we're going to need to help clothe and bathe and feed and shelter him until he can finally decide to sign that franchise tender that barely lets him eke by a living in this league. I know I couldn't live off of $20 million a year. Who can live off of $20 million a year? How is this economy working? All right. There we go. Okay, I'm done. Okay. That's my new favorite thing. That is my new favorite thing. If the mouth moved, it'd be perfect. I think you're right, Danny. I think we need to get it to the point to where the mouth moves. Chris says Terrence and Phillip like. That is the Terrence and Phillip voice. Hey, guys. Oh, I farted. That is the Terrence and Phillip voice. I love that I don't have to do a very good Jerry Jones impersonation for you guys to like my Jerry Jones impersonation. That's great. Danny says, you got to see how much it cost to get the mouth to move. I'll sponsor it. LOL. Michael, if Jerry's actual mouth did move, it'd be perfect. So, yeah. Michael Fletcher is doing the hand to face. Also, yeah, that's a brown emoji. They do the brown emojis now instead of yellow. I was offended also because my skin's not yellow either. So I was also offended by the yellow-faced emojis. Let's see. Daniel says, Dak equals MVP. Laugh my ass off. That will be the day that happens, and I'll name my son Dakota. Chris says, why was Ari's show short today? Well, Ari's got a lot of stuff going on. I've got a lot of stuff going on too. This is not going to be a full hour show for me either. And then also too, I like talking with you guys a ton. But obviously, we're trying to work on getting these viewership numbers up, and we've got some other projects. I don't know if you guys have seen some of our other products. We do these short form videos for other Facebook pages. So if you know a business that you feel like would like to engage with their audience with our videos, that's one of the products we're selling now. So if you're a business owner, small business owner, we're here to help you on social media. Chris says, all you need is a hooker on your crotch. And it's perfect. Danny says, that's the shake my head emoji, LOL. Yeah, I think my point today was this. I have been covering sports for a long time, and what I know about press conferences is that they're meaningless. They're pointless. Nothing that's ever said in a press conference, unless that press conference is forced upon that person because of urgent, everybody in the city cares or everybody in the country cares about this story type of news, press conferences are meaningless. Other than the injury report, the NFL press conferences are fucking meaningless. Every time everybody wants access, everybody thinks access is the magic amulet to sports coverage, and I'm telling you right now, we've gotten so far down this access rabbit hole that people now think that it's some sort of currency, it's some sort of something to aspire to. And talking as somebody who, who's been in the NFL locker rooms, has covered NFL teams, has covered myriads of press conferences. I've been in John Dorsey's office, one-on-one, just me and him, having a conversation about what's going on with the team. Like I've been in these situations, and what I will tell you is that unless there's no recorder going, unless they're totally off the record, unless they are ensured that you cannot report anything that they say to you in that conversation, it's not a real conversation. It's not. And so, I always try to explain this to people. They think, there's all these kind of rabbit holes you can go down in terms of sports analysis, access, analytics, commentary. And to be honest with you, none of them really satisfy your urges. None of it satisfies your urges. I think the best thing for sports fans, if we're being totally honest right now, the best thing for you as a sports fan is probably Madden. I think, you would really enjoy playing Madden because then you get to control your team and you get to have influence over it. You get to have some sort of impact on the team. Because other than that, unless you're just a casual fan who goes to games and likes having a couple beers and watching the Cowboys, regardless of whether or not they win or lose, that it's a social experience for you, sports coverage doesn't really satisfy your urges. Because access it's not actual access. It's access that's pretending to be access. It's not actual access. It's parading around like it's access. Nobody wants to give you access. Nobody wants to give me access. Nobody wants to give anybody access. It's not like it used to be. There's too many people. And to be honest with you, if social media hadn't come about the way that it has, we'd probably get more access. because they would be more comfortable sharing things with the media because they know that depending on who they share it with, it could either get out as a rumor. But now it's just like social media. It's like the second you get out of a meeting, somebody's going to tweet something and then it's going to get out there. So like if the owner is saying one thing about their strategy in terms of getting players, we're all in, we're going to sign all these players, we're going to get everybody on board, we're going to go chase a championship, we're all in on winning a championship. And then on the flip side, it's like, well, you still have the same tepid, mediocre coach that you've always had. You haven't signed any players to long-term franchise deal contracts. None of the high-profile free agents that were out there are now on your team. And you're just sitting here waiting for the draft to get here in a week, and you're like, well, what is this? What is this? What are you doing? Unless you're so blinded by your obsession that you can't say that, I don't know. I don't know where you're at right now with this team. And so like that's like a really front-facing, forward question. What do you want? What do you want? Because right now the only thing that you're getting is bullshit. That's it. The Cowboys are giving you bullshit. I'm giving you bullshit. The Dallas Morning News is giving you bullshit for sure. ESPN is just chocked full of, they're up to their necks in bullshit. Because everybody's just trying to, everybody's a whore for these teams to get access or to get exclusives or to get information or one thing or the other. And it's like, I think you just got to let them alone. You just got to leave them alone, man. I've never viewed athletes as special, and that's probably one of the problems. That's one of the reasons why I've struggled in my career is because I don't treat athletes like they're special, and they want to be treated like they're special. I don't treat sports teams like they're special, because they're not. I don't treat owners like they're special, because they're not. They're not smarter than us. They're not smarter than you. Jerry Jones is not smarter than you. He's been an owner of an NFL team more than you have. So he understands a lot of the nuances and difficulties of ownership and the pressure and all of those things. He understands making decisions on a level that's that big. But in terms of like knowledge base, who do you think obsesses over the Cowboys more than you? I mean, you're watching this live stream right now of me talking about the Cowboys, and it's March 25th. And like the thing here is that I'm trying to get at is you know a lot more about this team than most people. And if the people who know more about this team that are out there, they don't know that much more about the team. They know some more about the team. They have access in terms of sources and things like that. But once again, the difference between you, fanatical fan, and then owner, player, coach, that group, the inside of the organization, and then the go-between, which is the media, it's not that much. You know, casual fans way the fuck over here. Like, they don't know anything about anything. They're idiots. They're all stupid. All they care about is going to the game and having fun, which is fine. That's a great way to enjoy sports. But if you're fanatical, like I have a very addictive personality. I am like you. Something I'm into, like I'm really into it. Like there's nothing that's going to stop me from being focused on that thing. If I'm focused on my team or my sport or whatever it is, like I'm in, man, and there's nothing that's going to prevent me from learning everything I possibly can about it, which is probably how I wound up where I'm at. Because before I was doing this, I was a land surveyor, you know? It was just quite strictly passion brought me to this point, just like passion has brought you to this point. They're not that much smarter than you. So stop treating them like they are. They have power, they have authority, they have control, they have more of those things than you do, but they don't have more insight. They really don't. If they did, they'd be better at the draft. If they had more insight, they'd be better in free agency. If they had more insight, you know, and like I think that's a lot of where the criticisms of Jerry Jones come from. People criticize Jerry Jones because they look at his words, then they look at his actions, and then they think, well, those don't really line up, so there has to be something else going on, and then usually that other something else is typically money. And so that's where everybody always goes to. And that's kind of where we're all at right now as Cowboys fans, or as sports fans in general. There are some people are experts, Some people are really good experts, but I don't think that you, as a passionate fan, are any less of an expert than a media guy. I think you're probably not as good as you're probably not as knowledgeable about the ins and outs of a game as the coach is. But if you played football in high school, you've got a pretty good knowledge base of what exactly players know. They're just better at it than you are. They've practiced it, but the knowledge base is still there. If I asked people to explain how photosynthesis works, you may be like, well, I know it's plants and it has something to do with oxygen and that's why plants are green. You've got general knowledge base, but you're not going to know as much as a botanist is going to know about photosynthesis. But you've got the general premise. And so it's not that far off. The rest of it is just details. Mies van der Rohe said the devil or the God is in the details. There's also a phrase that says the devil's in the details. Those two phrases are both true. Everything about being great at something is about details. But knowing and covering something and being having the ability to pursue those details, it's not a separation of intelligence. It's a separation of time. So if you're spending a lot of time obsessing about the Cowboys, you're not that far off from where the people who run the Cowboys are. They have some access and they've got some tools that you don't have. But if something doesn't make sense to you, don't just assume that it doesn't make sense because you're not smart enough to get it, or that you're not qualified enough to get it, or that you're not whatever enough to get it. It probably has more to do with the fact that it doesn't make any goddamn sense. And right now, that's where the Cowboys are at. They're in this doesn't make any goddamn sense mode. And guess what? This is true of a lot of sports teams. And, the more and more that I cover sports, the more and more I realize that these guys aren't geniuses. They're not Andy Reid wouldn't be a nuclear physicist if he weren't the head coach of the Chiefs. He would be the head coach of a high school team if he weren't the head coach of the Chiefs. So, there's not that huge of the difference is not that big. It's not that big. You're smarter than you give yourself credit for, and your passion is going to lead you to a place where you know more than you give yourself credit for. Michael says, damn, you guys are young. My own 30th is in 4 years. What's happening here? Let's see. Joe says the Duke game yesterday was incredible. Chris, the best bullshitter at a presser is Belichick because he doesn't give a fuck because he loathes doing pressers. That's true. Danny, I'm just here so I don't get fined. P.S. I had a biscuit with some gravy on it. Rick, today is my parents' 36th year anniversary. Thanks, Rick. Glad to know that you're really dialed in on today's topics. Chris, happy anniversary to them. All right. Thanks, guys. You guys are awesome. This is just wonderful. Chris, you're a sports nihilist, and you tell it like it is, TJ. You don't fucking sugarcoat it. Thank you. I'm glad that you pick up on that. I'm glad that a lot of people pick up on that. And I think a lot of it is just I'm not going to worship these people. I'm not going to give them credit for things that they haven't done. I'm never going to do that. And so many people are eager to do that with their own teams and not others. And I think just look at our political climate to realize that it's not a specific to sports thing. People love the gratification of being told that they're right or that they're justified in their passion. Ginny says, wow, TJ, you're making me feel like a freaking genius. I'm glad. Michael says, just like movie stars, musicians, etc., all just people. Yeah, exactly. That's right. They're all just people. Man, they're all just people. And if you don't treat them like they're special, they get upset with you because they're so used to being treated like they're special, they start believing that they're special. And let me tell you, being the owner of a sports franchise does not make you special. There are very few special people in the world. There's a lot of special people to me. My wife's special to me, That's special. My friends are special to me. My business partners are special to me. But like Michael Jackson's not special to me. What? Like, you made some good music. It wasn't profound music. It was music. It was good music. It was really good music. But you were also maybe a pedophile. Probably a pedophile. So I don't really, it's like, okay, so you made some good music. I was never like obsessed with you. I never held you up any sort of like to be morally virtuous in some way. So I'm not going to feel bad about listening to your music if I find out you're a shitbag. And I'm also not going to feel bad about stopping listening to your music because you're a shitbag. Like, that doesn't matter to me. There's nothing special about musical artists. There's nothing special about any creator of any kind of content. We're all just people, man. We're all just people. And I think that what happens is that we think, oh, so-and-so is associated with this entity, this institution, this organization of the Cowboys, and so therefore by transitive properties, they're special now. And that's not how it works. Taco is not a better defensive lineman because he's a Cowboy. In fact, I think for the most part, I think it's been proven he's been shittier because he's a Cowboy. So David Irving is not special because he's a Cowboy. No one is. You know what? You're going to fucking hate Zeke Elliott when he doesn't re-sign with the Cowboys because they won't pay him enough money. In fact, not only are you not going to like him, you're going to hate him because he's going to go to a different team because he wouldn't play for you because you wouldn't pay him enough. And then you get this animosity towards him because he had some integrity. Like, what is that? You could just instead be a normal thinking person and treat everybody the same and say, well, yeah, it kind of makes sense because Zeke wanted X. He wasn't offered X. He was offered B. And, he doesn't want B. But that's all Jerry Jones is willing to offer him. So now I have to pick between supporting Jerry Jones, who's an asshole, or supporting Ezekiel Elliott, who might be an asshole. It's just so strange. It's so strange to me how we can't just acknowledge when people fuck up. Like Jerry Jones has screwed up the Cowboys this offseason. He's screwing it up. They have no defensive line anymore. None. They have no defensive line. They haven't signed any free agents. They don't know what they're doing. They tried to franchise tag a guy. That blew up in their face. And it's going to continue to blow up in their face until he signs his franchise tender and then sits out half the season because he took too long to sign it because you took too long to give him an offer he wanted. Like this is a crazy thing. Jerry Jones can never acknowledge when he doesn't have the leverage. And like that's a big problem with people in power. People who think they're special have a really big problem acknowledging when they've been beaten. If you have and I would say this too, I think that power ultimately the real true power and strength comes from when you can acknowledge your mistakes. Because if you acknowledge your mistakes, then you can go on to correcting them. But you have to acknowledge them first. Otherwise, you will have nobody at your back. Except for the people who don't listen to you. Except for the people who don't give a fuck what you say. Like once again, I am not going to judge Jerry Jones off of what he says for the most part. Sometimes I'll judge him off of what he says because I want to know if I'm telling you about what I think Jerry Jones thinks about something, I'll share with you what he says. But if you're trying to glean information about what he's going to do based off of what he says, you are barking up the wrong tree, man. That Sean and RJ show on 105.3 The Fan, I mean, it's a waste of 20 minutes. It really is. And I wish it weren't, but that's kind of what you do. You're like, all right, well, you can have this access, but only if you don't ask any questions that I don't want to answer. And if I don't answer the questions that you do ask, you just move right on. I'm going to control this interview. I'm going to control how it's perceived. And if you disagree with that, I'll just stop doing it. My take on that would be I would stop doing the interview because clearly that person doesn't want to be interviewed. The Cowboys don't want to tell you what they're trying to do. So those are my two options. I can either believe that the Cowboys are just full of shit, or I can believe that the Cowboys are incredibly incompetent. Those are my two options right now as a commentator, because you got to follow some level of logic to the end decision that they make. And if the end decision, the end result doesn't follow your logic train, clearly they were using a different logic train. And by the way, they're not going to tell you what their logic is ever. Because if they expose to you their thought process, then you can pick it apart. But if you just sort of answer blanket questions with nonsense, then there's nothing to pick apart. There's nothing to pick apart, and it just becomes confusing, fodder, meaningless content for the people who have nothing else better to do than to consume the meaningless content. So that's my frustration today. That's my frustration. Joe says, that's why I watch you and Ari Real Sports News. Thanks, Joe. Charvon Conley? Charvon, by the way. Or Charyan. Sorry, Charyan Conley. Charyan. Unique name, man. Or lady. You won it today. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. That's a wonderful compliment. Jance says, so I would have gotten the Cowboys to the Super Bowl by now. Chris, were you dancing to pay tribute to Gronk? Gronk is retired. That's really sad. Don't count out Gronk coming back to play again. Only if he gets to wear the number 69. Chris says, I want a silo burger. Oscar Blues, man. Good silo burgers. Chris says, players want to get paid. Can't blame them for that. It's their body they're wrecking. That's right. I'm never going to knock a player for trying to get paid, man. Because I try to get paid too. I try to get paid, and I'm also never going to knock the owner of a team for not wanting to pay too much for something he doesn't think is worth that much. But I will say, you can't get mad at the other side of the table. You can't take it personally if you're not taking it personally, right? If you say to DeMarcus Lawrence in contract negotiations, look, man, it's nothing personal. I just don't think that you've produced enough sacks or have stayed healthy enough to warrant this kind of offer. And it's really that simple. It's not personal. I can't justify to my accountants and to myself paying you this much right now. That's not to mean I don't think that you're a great player. Clearly we think you're a great player, but you're not worth this. And if you think you can get this from somebody else, you are very welcome to try. But that's not what they did. That's not the conversation they had. They said, no, you're going to play for us, and you're either going to play on the franchise tag or you're going to play on an offer that we like or that we want to give you. And that's the end of the discussion. And they're strong-arming DeMarcus Lawrence, and that's not going to work because you don't have the leverage that you're pretending that you have. And that happens all the time in sports. It happens all the time in business too. I don't want to just single sports out. It's happened in my business. It's happened to me. So I've been in those conversations. I know how they go. A lot of people don't work on a contract basis. I've worked on a contract basis now for a decade. And being on a contract basis is not fun. It's not fun. There's a lot of uncertainty about it. It's all performance based. That's why they're contracts. That's not, and like the notion of like right to work and all that stuff is complicated to say the least. And there are arguments for both sides of it too. There's some arguments for not having a minimum wage that I tend to agree with. I think fundamentally I disagree with getting rid of the minimum wage. But point is that contracts are always about performance. They're always about performance. So, look, I think that sometimes people are afraid to make something different, to think outside the box. But clearly, if you're at an impasse, that means that inside the box thinking hasn't worked. And if there's one thing that I think is an obligation of the organization or the power broker, the employer, is outside the box thinking. They're the ones who need to be obligated to think outside the box because they're the ones who have the resources to do so. And if you don't have the resources to do so, I understand not thinking outside of the box. You're limited because you're limited by your resources. The Cowboys have more resources than any professional sports franchise in the world. So there is like this idea that they're limited, that they're hamstrung. Oh no, I can't. I'm sorry. Oh wait, we got to get the. This is coming in handy today. I like it. Oh no, I got my head's behind my back. Oh, I'm tied up. I can't do it. I'm sorry, DeMarcus. I don't have the money. To do it. I'm sorry. I can't figure out a way to get through these all oppressive NFL type of things that they have with the contracts. They won't let me sign you for more money. I would if I could, but the salary cap. I mean, I know that I've basically evaded taxes my entire life and have never had to pay for anything, and have found out a way to maximize my own profits for personal gain for roughly 50 years. But the NFL has got me tied. I can't do anything. I can't. It's impossible to pay you. I can't do it. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. Like, you guys have been watching me long enough to know I think cheating is good. I'm for it. I'm for Cayman Island bank accounts, paying players under the table, do whatever it takes to succeed. I'm okay with skirting the law. I don't care. Like, some laws are good, but fuck some laws. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's some laws that are great. I'm glad that we have certain laws. Don't murder, good law. I think that's a good law. Don't steal, another good law. Don't steal from your neighbor. I don't care if you steal from the government. They got plenty. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's okay though. It's like if it's not gonna hurt somebody, I don't really care. And so I think it's bullshit. Let's see. Jenny says, for most fans, it doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter how we dissect. It doesn't matter what players we do or don't get. If they win the Super Bowl, then all offseason is forgotten anyway. Right? But if you don't win the Super Bowl, which is far more likely, then you're not going to forget the offseason. Ash says, facts, this team only gives us bullshit, realist shit I've ever heard. Rick, thank you, Ash. Rick says, does Barry sign with the team this offseason, or does he retire? I think he might be retiring, Rick, based off of some of the information about his chicken foot. So, apparently the physical he took with the Cowboys did not go well. And so if it's a physical issue that he's having, it's probably his chicken foot. And warranted, granted. If you're a physician and you're giving a physical to an athlete, and then all of a sudden, chicken foot, that's a red flag. I think it's in a medical textbook that if you have the foot of a chicken and you're not a chicken, red flag. I think that's kind of how that works. So, I don't know, man. He's played with it his whole life. So, the idea that he can't play with it is a little foolhardy, but it's also another reason to not pay him. And I think that's really, once again, where the impasse is you think you're worth this, I think you're worth this, which means you're not going to play for this team. And as long as you operate that way, you will continue to go, you will continue to get close, but not all the way there unless you get lucky. You're allowing luck to be a factor because you are limiting yourself. The less that you spend, the less that you control, and that's what makes the salary cap a difficult aspect of the league. But that's also a part of just the issues that the Cowboys are facing right now. I think that the salary cap should exist, but I think it should be I think it should be like $100 million higher than it is, not $12 million jumping up every year. That's a way to control costs. It's a way to control and maximize profits by the owners. It's a smart business move. It's just not fair to the workforce. But it is a smart business move. It's just not fair, which is another thing. I think that for some reason we have moved from showing capitalism as an economic structure, which, as an economic structure, I really believe I'm a capitalist. I love capitalism. I think capitalism is great. It's like right now everybody's it's like socialism versus capitalism, and that's I let the markets decide, and I'm like, yeah, I agree with letting the markets decide. I know I'm not a socialist. I don't like socialism. I think it creates more problems than it solves. I just want rich people to pay their taxes. You know, like I love capitalism. I just want rich people to pay their taxes. And it's the same thing with the salary cap. Like, I like the salary cap. I like the NFL. I like everything about the league. I like how it's structured. I like the fairness of it, the parity imperative to do that. I just think the salary cap should be higher. I don't want no salary cap. I think the salary cap is good. It's a good form of regulation to keep the league competitive, you know? The salary cap is a good function. It just needs to be higher. That's all I'm saying. Let's see. Michael says, TJ, half comedic genius, half philosophical guru. Great job and great show. Michael, thank you very much. I'm getting a lot of compliments today. Maybe I should just be unhinged and angry more. Albert says, that was awesome. People love the Jerry. Chris says, Jerry just wants some glory hole. They love the Jerry impersonation. Michael says, if you have the neck of a turkey, you can be an owner then too. LOL. You know what? I can't wait to the days when I have a turkey neck. Of course, here's the problem. You know, Jerry Jones is a billionaire who owns who owns the biggest NFL team in the league. And when I am his age, I will probably be working at a gas station. So, like, there's the difference. Jerry Jones is over here bullshitting millions of people, and I'm over here yelling at clouds while I give you your $2 off your hot dog for getting 12 gallons of gas. Like, that's the difference, right? Gas station attendant philosopher, bullshit franchise owner. Like, it's a wide continuum, and we're on opposite ends. Let's see. Michael says, if you, Rick says Walmart TJ. What do you mean? What do you mean with Walmart? I don't know what that means, Rick. No, but doesn't that seem like a reasonable take? Linda says turkey neck. LOL. Laughing. Michael, don't forget the head was my idea. Credit where credit's due. Yes. No, Michael, it's perfect. I love it. I love it. Yeah, but doesn't that seem reasonable? Doesn't that just seem like a reasonable thing? Because I do believe that if the salary cap, I think Jerry Jones, more so than most owners, resents the salary cap. Green Bay probably really likes the salary cap. Jacksonville likes the salary cap. You know who hates the salary cap? The Cowboys, the Redskins, the Giants, the Eagles, every team in the NFC East. The Patriots hate the salary cap. Although the Patriots... I take that back. The Patriots love the salary cap because everybody else is like, the salary cap, meh. And then the Patriots are like, you do the salary cap thing. We will not. We will pay people under the table. Cayman Island bank accounts will set it all up for you, Tom. And you can play on $17 million a year that way so we can put other talented players around you. You don't care, right? Right? I mean, it's tax-free for you too. Like, that's how the Patriots operate, and I wish the Cowboys would do that. Sharion Conley says, not the gas station, LOL. Rick, you'll be working at Walmart when you're his age. Yeah, Walmart greeter. Do you think they'll still be doing the greeters when I'm 80? How old is Jerry? Jerry's 74? 75? How old is he? I know he talks about death a lot. So he's got to be at least in his 70s. Let's see. Oh, I gotcha. Oh, Walmart, not the gas station. Yeah, I could totally be working at Walmart. Walmart, I grew up a stone's throw away from world headquarters of Walmart. It is interesting that the number of teams that I've covered that have connections to the natural state, like I covered the Royals, David Glass was the CEO of Walmart for a long time, and then Jerry Jones obviously has ties to Arkansas. It's interesting. Michael says, "Do I get an executive producer credit?" LOL. Michael, we will do a little series of videos. And I'm going to try to Photoshop my mouth on top of Jerry Jones's mouth. I think we can work. I think we can make that work. Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. I see. Here's the problem though. I'm going to have to shave because he doesn't have, he doesn't have facial hair. I've never seen, who would look, I bet you Jerry Jones would look super weird with facial hair. Does anybody has he ever grown a beard or a mustache? He's a mustache guy. Jerry Jones is totally a mustache guy, isn't he? You can just see it, just like a nasty, gray, white mustache. Who would he look like? I don't know, but it would be creepy. Aldo says, what's up, TJ? Sorry I got here late. Feel bad when I miss your show. Aldo, thank you very much. We're almost done. I said it wasn't going to go that long, and it's been 45 minutes. Aldo, there you go. Speak for Jerry. Linda, JJ is a con artist. Too bad fans are wising up. Are they? I hope you're right about that, Linda. I think that, if you're watching this show, you're probably pretty wise. Ginny says, just dye the beard and mustache gray. Aldo, crop out the beards and we will see how it looks. Crop out the beard, see how it looks. I'll try. I'll try to do that. I got to trim this because you can't even see my lips. It'll look weird. It'll look weird. I could probably be evil Jerry and then just have just this area. But we're going to have to leave the turkey neck. Joe says Jerry with a mustache would look like a 1970 porn star. He would look like a 1970 porn star if the porn were like granny porn. If it were, for those not aware, that is a genre. And yes, we have now dipped below 20 viewers the second I talk about granny porn, which means it's probably time to end the show. Thank you guys so much for watching today. Today was a show I really enjoyed. Today was one of my favorite shows I think I've done. It seems like you guys really enjoyed it. We discovered the Jerry head. Yeah, man. Hey guys, I'm Jared Jones. I've also been doing a lot of different Jerry Jones impersonations. Hey guys, I'm Jared Jones. Hey guys, Jared Jones here. And remember that everything I say is 100% true until I decide to change my opinion, and then that's 100% true. I know that sounds fairly Orwellian, but that's just how it goes in Cowboys Nation. Whenever we're at war with Atlantia, that's who we're at war with until I decide we're gonna be at war with somebody else, and then that's who we're at war with. And then also, I don't know why I'm talking about war because this is football. I'll acknowledge at least a little bit that I'm going somewhat senile. You know I'll be dead soon, so we better win a championship, and that's why we're all in. Except we're not, because nothing that I do or say, actually nothing that I do say reflects that. But everything I say that's all that matters to you. Words, not actions. Meh. Also, watch the TJ Carpenter Show every day on Phantom. It's the best show, even though he's not particularly nice to me. That's a good old boy from Arkansas, that right there for you. Meh. All right. Okay. All right, that's gonna do it for me. I think that is what ends. That is what ends the show. Joe, Rick, Michael, Albert, Aldo, Rick again, Sharyan, who's now one of my favorite people. Sharyan, what's up? Thank you. Aldo, Joe, Rick, Aldo, Michael again, Sharyan again, Michael again, Aldo again. Aldo says best thing he said was watch the TJ Show. Later, y'all. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you guys so much for supporting what we do here at Phantom. And by the way, we're thinking about doing some additional shows. We'll give you some updates on that coming up here in the next couple of weeks. But I think you're going to be really excited about it. Actually, Ari and I are considering a couple of different things, but we'll definitely keep you guys updated. And thank you guys so much for watching us. I know Ari's show is short today. Don't hold it against him. He's just short in general. All right, that's it. I'm done. Later, y'all.